Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you're serious about the digital asset space. And let's get right into it today. This is going to be part 2 of Ripple Rant number 10. If you have not seen part 1, you can type in Kevin Cage part 1 Ripple Rant number 10, and that will be on my first channel. So let's kick things off and I'll breeze through the information for this week. So Ripple just coming out. This partnership with the largest bank in the country allows us to get the time to settle payments down from 24 hours to an average of 22 seconds. Now, this is actually from co-founder of Azimo, Michael Kent, on his latest partnership with SCB. And this is the Siam Commercial Bank of Thailand. And this is all thanks to RippleNet, the actual software, the network of banks that work and utilize Ripple technology. All right, and then as we can see here, this gentleman, I'm sorry, I know you, but I do not know how to pronounce your name. Right here, so we have by Mr. B XRP actually sharing this when he was at Swell, I believe, and this is a RippleNet home, and also just showing the integrations. I don't want to get a copyright strike, but essentially you can get analytics by being on RippleNet. You can see insights into payments, you can see rates, you can see information flows, and it's a really cool. And I've seen some people use it and kind of create channels as well. I've seen people kind of compare it to the Facebook for banks. So this will be really cool to see these types of softwares actually interact with not only banks, but all financial institutions as a whole as liquidity grows. So I thought that's really cool, and we'll kind of see this being something that will really kickstart innovation. All right, next up, Ajish, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, Sadanand, and this gentleman is the CTO director at SBI Ripple Asia. Of course, we know SBI being one of the original investors backing the company Ripple. So Ripple and XRP gaining trust for their faster and easier remittance solutions, now allowed to operate in Singapore. And again, this country is going to be a hotbed, already is, for financial technology firms. And they are now allowed to operate in Singapore license free. Now, this is not just Ripple. There's a bunch of groups due to the current, COVID situation occurring. But right here, the Singapore Monetary Authority, this is the MAS, or the Monetary Authority of Singapore, has granted license-free operations reward to Ripple for its seamless and tamper-proof RippleNet, this software. And of course, here's an article right here. And then, of course, proof who provided it, Leonidas. So thank you, sir, just sharing this. So again, mas.gov.sg for Singapore. We can go right here. Entities that have been notified by this is the Monetary Authority of Singapore, pursuant to the Payment Services Exemption for Specified Period Regulations 2019 Exemption Regulations. All we can do is Control F, look for Ripple, and again, Ripple Labs Singapore PTE Ltd listed right here. And so we can see this little check mark, and we'll go all the way up again. And essentially, this was for providing digital payment token services 6 months from commencement, July 28th, 2020. Pretty cool to see that. All right, next up, Matthew, LINY, the Commonwealth, made up of 54 nations, have been looking into the potential of DLT technology. This is distributed ledger technology. This is exactly what the XRP ledger is at its core. Now, at the time, Ripple is one of the fintech companies that presented to this working group. No surprise, as we can see, Commonwealth Voluntary Association, 54 independent equal countries, home to 2.4 billion people, advanced and developing countries. Members work together to promote prosperity, democracy, democratizing payments, and peace, amplify the voice of small states, and protect the environment. So, amplifying the voice of small states makes me kind of think of, financial inclusion in the terminology of leveling a playing field, okay? Democratizing payments, making it fair for everybody. And again, this is all the way back to October 11th, 2017, just showing you, though, the Commonwealth Central Bank Governors Meeting. Ripple, of course, has, been noted to meet with the Trump administration a few years back, have consulting roles with the Bank of International Settlements and International Monetary Fund, just showing you another point and reference. So thank you. And again, regulatory guidance, October 2019. This is all shared again by Matthew, LINY, must follow here on Twitter. Next up, this is pretty cool, shared by City Sharif. So this is actually retweeted by Lord XRP, and I actually really want to show this. This is Rachel Lee. She has disappeared recently. Now, this is not my belief, just so you guys know. I'm not going to share my opinion with this, but I'm going to read these tweets because anything is possible in this ecosystem. So listen to this. Rachel Lee was one of the kind of people believed to have inside information, and always was pretty familiar with a few other people with the XRP ledger, the functionality of XRP as a digital asset, her belief as a global reserve currency. I'm not asking you guys to believe it. I'm asking you guys to entertain the thought and then do your own research, decide for yourself. So right here, this is a while back when she tweeted this. So if you think only JP Morgan was calling crypto a scam while building their own secretly, I think again, because there's a whole new global financial system being built in secret for years now by the International Monetary Fund, the Bank of International Settlements, central banks, etc. XRP will take the role the US dollar plays today as the world reserve currency. Right here, she says, we are impatient and we want to see XRP get to $1,000 in the blink of an eye. XRP will easily glide to 3 and 4 digits, whether that's $100 or $1,000, when the world is ready to accept and fully implement the new global financial system. All efforts are being made to position XRP as a global reserve bridge asset. Now, this is super conspiratorial, nothing new for the XRP community. I get it. Now, if this were the case, my belief is people would not want to draw attention towards XRP, and they would highly manipulate and suppress the price. And then overnight, potentially, switch is flipped or, legislation comes and boom, price set. I mean, this could be a possibility, but, my way of going about things is prepare for the worst and hope for the best. All right. Next up, so again, this is David Schwartz actually answering this. Now, this could actually be considered some FUD for all of you people, so let's check this out. So this gentleman right here, Dave, says he has a good friend who is writing the programs for ICA, the big banks, and he was telling us about the new software he was writing. And and then Dave showed his friend Ripple, and he said both Ripple and his new product were almost identical. The bank's new stuff will not be released until 2021. Now, this was dated back 3 years or 2 years ago at this point. And David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, straight up says in April of 2018, that's too late to do us any good. Our XRP strategy cannot wait that long. So, 2 scenarios. Either XRP fails, goes to zero, is not actually successful in global dominance, or, another option would be, they see decent volume, they're low value, and, low volume, maybe high volume corridors for low payments with their on-demand liquidity software, or perhaps they're actually connected to more banks than we think, and we are simply waiting for this, economy and everything to be orchestrated and destroyed, and this could be part of this new financial system. Now, I'm not telling you that is the case, so please don't be a snowflake and, leave a rude comments. I'm just saying we have to entertain the thoughts behind this, all right? And so David Schwartz has been asked about this recently, and I don't think he's really answered it. If anyone has any recent answers to this exact tweet, let me know, okay? Feel free to screenshot this as well. So 2021, our XRP strategy cannot wait that long. It's many people's belief by end of year, and I'm saying before 2021, we could see some big bull runs in all of digital assets that actually serve a true purpose. But until then, I believe that regulations will come down hard in the next several months and really get rid of a lot of the fraudulent projects that are simply promises and just a white paper. All right, and then also there's been a lot of projects that were funded heavily and they never even wrote a single line of code. So just understand, I am an advocate of many digital assets. Why do I only talk about XRP? I'm not paid by Ripple. I talk about XRP because I think it is the most guaranteed one for success and an ROI, and a return on your investment for everyday people. That's what I'm trying to do here, is spread the word on this and encourage you to do your own research. If you think it's too risky, or you see something you don't like, or you see a competitor that's doing it better, by all means, please share it. And, I wish you luck. So right here, David Schwartz again, this is in 2017, and he's talking about the price of XRP, saying it can't be dirt cheap. So it can't be 18 cents, it can't be $1. He says right here, that doesn't make any sense. If one XRP token costs $1, they'd need 1 million XRP, which would cost $1 million. If XRP would costs $1 million per token, they would need only 1 XRP, which would again cost $1 million. So he's talking about a higher valuation, also making the assets more liquid and being able to move the market. Now, we're going to talk about how big, of course, even the cross-border market is. Don't even get started on, the corridors between that. Don't talk, derivative markets, the securities markets. It is massive. Like, we're attacking trillions of dollars. This is not billions, guys. So I'm saying even if XRP just has decent success, I would still expect to see, some version of double digits in the future. And I know that was maybe a price prediction, but do your own research. You're a big boy. You're responsible for your own decisions. So right here, Santiago Vela is sharing this. The cross-border and transfer market, of course, and corresponding system of these pre-funded accounts, these Nostro bank accounts around the world, are a huge fraction of this 57 trillion euro-dollar market. So we have the credit due to Zero Hedge. I know, kind of, showing this as a source. But again, Zero Hedge did post this, and the sources were from the Bank of International Settlements, and they kind of were trying to guesstimate how much money we're really in these markets as a whole. So we have over-the-counter derivatives from non-financial corporations, I believe. We have cross-border claims, US dollar imports. We have debts and liabilities from non-financial corporations, etc. So again, $57 trillion is the estimate that they came up to, nearly 3 times the size of the economy before it was hit by COVID in the United States. And again, he emphasizes a great point. Digital assets, and of course, XRP comes to mind, Ethereum with smart contracts, perhaps Link, perhaps Tezos. Digital assets will be used to mitigate the funding need and counterparty risk by bridging. Bridge asset, XRP. Now, there's going to be other use cases, whether, VeChain or, Cardano. The best projects of each type of sector and use case will succeed. All right, this caught my eye the other day. Wanted to share this with Seagate Technology. So again, this is shared by XRP Sparky 91011. So Seagate Technology, this article was from January of 2018, may own over 4% of the company Ripple. So no credit from the street. So summary, Seagate Technology invested in Series A and B, the funding rounds of Ripple, and at the time, Ripple owner of 61% of the XRP, which is a top 3 crypto. Ripple holdings at the time were worth over 180 billion on the market. This was, following the 2017 bull run. So there were massive inflated prices as XRP approached anywhere from, $3 to $4 on some exchanges. So if Seagate still has its Ripple investment, it could plausibly be worth 7.8 billion, 2/3 of its market capitalization. Right? The street has given zero credit for its crypto investing prowess. Nonetheless, pretty interesting. And again, just kind of a string here. IBM with partners with Seagate to reduce global drive. And if you guys want to look further into this, I just found that to be interesting. All right. Next up, shared by XRP_Stewart. So Westpac in 18. So Australia, we find ourselves, I'm actually going to read this specifically. So Westpac Institutional Bank, October 2018, specifically talking about DLT disrupting and, fixing this fragmented ecosystem. So as we can see here, we have these gentlemen out of Australia. And again, specifically right here, Peter Polister, head of new ventures, digital. Westpac Institutional Bank. So we can see right here, the ability to leverage the new capability in Australian means that I can now connect through a DLT or a blockchain fabric with someone in Europe or the United States who instantaneously wants to make an Australian dollar payments. You can see execution of payments within seconds, confirmation received, counterparty, carry forward with rich data, meaning tons of, analytics, insights into the payment, similar to what I showed you in the beginning of this video with RippleNet Home, which is going, I like to say, and I've heard a lot of people say it at this point, the Facebook for banks and FIs and for, payments as a whole. So right here, talking about what it's doing is disrupting the high cost of international payments. This is what DLT, this is what the XRP ledger and RippleNet software as a whole is tackling with atomic swaps, cryptographically locking and signing. You don't have to trust and utilize a middleman. There doesn't have to be outrageous fees to pay the middleman. There doesn't have to be a bunch of middlemen for that matter, because with the SWIFT system and the correspondent banking network, it could go through 8 to 10 intermediaries along the way. And there's no messaging, there's no standard between anything. All right, what will the benefits be? Of course, the problem with any legacy or paper-based transactions is it's slow, cumbersome, and ripe for various types of fraud. With DLT, there's not going to be those lies, okay? This is going to create a lot more trust. When there is mutual trust, you will actually be able to engage in more commerce. Today, unfortunately, the situation is we almost have mutual mistrust in the ecosystem. All right, DLT is going to, change everything. It's way beyond just payments, guys, but I'm talking about payments because I'm specifically talking about XRP solving a huge portion of the payments protocol. I think DLT specifically is going to be helpful for accounting and inventory and medical records. Just the whole ledger system is being distributed and shared and always up and validated by multiple groups, creating trust. There's going to be so many things, especially even in, courtrooms. All right. Standard for, way we do correspondent banking, looking to do that. Talking about real-time gross settlements, extremely high processes. This is what I wanted to emphasize. All right. And then R3. mentioning them as well, and RippleNet at the very bottom. So just wanted to share that. All right, next up, XRP stored. I'm not going to show this video. I just wanted to zoom in here by AWS, and this is Invent, and we can see the types of blockchains. So we have public blockchains that are permissionless, so you can just join them. You don't have to ask. And then we also have private blockchains that are actually permissioned. So again, RippleNet has their own tightly knit group, and then of course, the XRP ledger is open and permissionless. We have Ethereum, we have the Bitcoin blockchain. They're all open. There's no single person that owns or controls it. Everyone can participate. Anyone can be a part of this network and have a copy of the ledger of these transactions. Now, with private blockchains that are permissioned, they're held or distributed only by these trusted participants in networks, may have owners, multiple owners who have permission to commit. And this is what we're seeing with banks, with many kind of intranets, or I guess you could just call them private blockchains. But the cool thing is that these blockchains will actually be bridged in the future, whether it's through some version of the Internet of Blockchains or a protocol such as Interledger. Right here, Ganesh Hiramath. So this is really interesting. So breaking. So we got the Rothschild's economist says new digital systems should be launched to distribute the cash. Again, with all the stimulus talk, this is an older thread, but I want to show you this because I found it to be pretty interesting. So as people are hoarding cash in this crisis, talks about bank runs. I personally haven't really seen any, of course, and now they're kind of not really doing a bank run because they're saying that cash is highly infectious. So I kind of think it's really mitigating and preventing people from even wanting to have cash, and see that we're going digital. And now that they're directing, for some people, they're actually getting stimulus checks via direct deposit. So it says, and he believes in this article, governments soon will launch their own central bank digital currencies to replace cash. Are you ready? So right here, underline, governments also need to jerry-rig digital systems so they're able to distribute cash to households directly. Right here, if funds can be sent instantly through mobile phones or online bank accounts, people will feel more confident and avoid hoarding cash and slowing their recovery when the virus recedes. Soon, the digital cash will be rolled out through central bank digital currencies and a new distributed ledger technology platform. Be ready. So we can see these advantages include cash will be distributed quickly. Vulnerable people will also be able to get by. Households will be confident enough to spend when the conditions improve. And we can see here how to prevent COVID slump, protecting recovery. We can see talks about the International Monetary Fund weighing the pros and cons and these benefits of central bank digital currencies. We know many countries at this point are already piloting and testing them. And then also we can see various projects such as Project Stella that's been around for quite some time, with the European Central Bank in Japan actually testing currencies over a distributed ledger and sending value between themselves. All right. And then IMF director says you do not need bank accounts to hold digital cash. Central bank digital currency may provide a public digital means of payment without requiring individuals to hold a bank account. We can see talks with China with, blockchain technology. I know XRP Crypto Wolf's been sharing a bunch of information on, the European Parliament and their think tank. It's everywhere. It's every country, every nation. Of course, this type of crisis in terms of liquidity and payments and business being at, a standstill, and loans going out, and countries potentially even being bailed out. It is happening everywhere. So I just wanted to talk about that. And as this gentleman just goes on to, basically explain what we've kind of been saying is, it's simple. Central bank digital currencies, they're just simply going to be digital. I imagine, a US dollar that will just be digitized. That's it. Be issued by the local governments within their country. And XRP has the chance to be for, instead of domestic use cases only, it could actually serve a purpose for international cross-border transfers that are used by banks through their central bank digital currency. So XRP is that bridge asset or currency between them, that middle currency to provide the essential liquidity, speed of transactions on a distributed ledger for trust. And of course, it can be bridged through Interledger protocol or any other protocol of their choice. So governments can track each transactions, where the digital cash is flowing, etc. I know more and more people are getting notifications by their banks on their website, hearing talks about digital wallets. And we can see another example here that was proposed. It's happening everywhere, guys. I just encourage you to, do your own research and see what else you can find with this. I can just assure you that we are going digital. Central bank digital currencies will be a thing. And they're still going to need a bridge asset. There's still walled gardens. There's still the issue of interoperability, and XRP has a use case, whether it's fiat or digital. Next up, Great Gatsby. I love this, so I just wanted to share this, really making good tweets about the Internet of Value. So right here, I envision a world where you will be able to Online shop for your investments. With the click of a button, you could buy 20% of an apartment building, and it would be uploaded to your blockchain portfolio with all contracts e-signed quickly, and your payment begins flowing. So again, you could be receiving dividend payments via stock. And the cool thing is, buying 20% of an apartment, well, the cool thing is with asset fractionalization, when everything's tokenized, we've even seen how people can actually tokenize real estate property and securities with a few clicks of a button and, just typing in your company. It's really, really cool. And when the regulations really start flowing, it's going to be amazing. Of course, commercial real estate is going to be easier to tokenize, but then I think residential will be, not too far behind. All right, then he says these investments could be anywhere in the world. You select in what form you would like your interest, profits deposited into your account, and likewise, selling your ownership would be just as easy. Tons and tons of liquidity, markets of buyers and sellers, and perhaps a cryptocurrency to fuel the transactions or be a bridge asset in various protocols and ledgers used. Exciting, for sure. All right, next, Gold Telegraph, guys. I know gold got a nice bid today, so the U.S. federal budget deficit is on track to exceed $3.8 trillion this year, even if Congress doesn't enact any more stimulus spending, and the world's nation's debt will rise to levels not seen since the country emerged from World War II. And then right here, Gold XRP sharing this. This is Bashi Crypto. So we have Turkish central banks were the top buyers of gold at 41 tons, followed by the Russian Federation at 19 tons, and the UAE at almost 6 tons, and then Kazakhstan at 2.8 trillion, Mongolia at 1 trillion. We can see that also through the years, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and potentially even other central banks, of course, along with the, United States and the European Union, they have been hoarding more gold than ever. And the question is why? Will there be some version of a gold-backed, currency once again? I don't know. That's up to you guys. I just encourage you to keep looking into it, because this is what I'm actually being led to believe, and I know some people think that's preposterous. All right here. I know I shared this a while back regarding BuyChip, guys, the organization a while back that was partnered with Ripple to integrate Ripple payments via a microchip in the hand about the size of a grain of rice. So there's been all kinds of infographics shared for several years at this point, and a lot of people were, kind of scared of this technology. I mean, I get it. I'm not going to get conspiratorial with you, but just to show you, regardless, the technology is actually here in microchips for medical records, for ID and licensing, and just overall integrating payments. That's an absolute fact. So this gentleman right here, Darren, just shared this BuyChip November events report 2018. So as we can see, they said the partnership between BuyChip and Ripple is over. BuyChip has now its own currency and token called BuyChip Coin. This is what a lot of groups do, and they have a new next generation blockchain. We've heard that term all the time. Says it can provide much faster transactions than all current currencies. Transactions inside are zero. I would like to see the technicalities behind this. Regardless, XRP is still designed to be a bridge asset and settle payments faster. Perhaps this will be on the retail end of things. I'm not quite sure, but it's interesting because I know, for example, Whole Foods throughout a few cities in the United States partnered with Amazon, have the RFID chips, and essentially just right on your phone and stuff. And when you walk into the store and you pick up an item, if you pick up a carton of eggs, it will have an RFID chip on it, and it will know it's walking with you throughout the store. When you leave the store, you don't even have to stop at a cashier and pay, because it'll automatically charge your Amazon account. So things of this nature are absolutely coming. And I just wanted to show you that the BuyChip and Ripple partnership is over. Regardless, we already know that they had the capability to integrate payments in the past, and now they're working with their own currency. So I thought that was pretty cool. We will see what the future entails. Let's see. I was just reading this with I Am Legion. Dot connections with PolySign, one of the biggest custody groups. And then I do not know how to pronounce this group actually. FUDs. Not really sure. Essentially, I was just looking at this little thing prepared by Fides, and this is Ripple. I don't really need to get into this. We get it. Today's efficient payment networks, disparate. There's no standard. Poor data. Notice how it's not rich data flow. There's not bidirectional messaging. You can only send it one way. It's legacy. There involves paper. Nothing's all digital. Expensive. 2 to 6 days. 6% error rates. They're all payments. You get the gist. Okay. Chaps, SIPs. All these networks, you understand what's happening essentially. Okay. Correspondent banking. Look at how many groups there are just for a payment. Low visibility on the status, no limited fee disclosure. Sometimes the rates change altogether, and it's high FX, conversion rates as well. And there's no bridge asset with tons of liquidity to provide better, real-time settling of these actual rates when they're converted. All right. Talking about blockchain now, talking about DLT and the benefits and all of the issues here. Just wait. I know cross-border for Ripple. I know we were talking, saying how bullish this is with the, euro dollar market alone, and anywhere from this dormant capital sitting from $5 trillion to $27 trillion. It is absolutely massive, guys. I just want to emphasize that once we get trade finance and really start doing that with groups with like R3, if this is actually incorporated on the XRP ledger, or there's, IOUs running on them, this will be so much bigger than we can imagine. Securities, we know Coinbase and Ripple have invested into Securitize. We know Securitize's connection with Tezos and XTZ as well. There's going to be multiple protocols that succeed, and it is not just about payments. This is about a digital transformation, whether it's securities and STOs, whether it is, decentralized Oracle networks with Chainlink, whatever you believe, guys. I'm just saying, pick your poison and do your own research. Syndicated lending with R3, we know they have already 10% of the lending market. Absolutely massive. Smart contracts, whether it's with Codius with XRP, or if that's completely a dead end eventually, Ethereum will still be used. Cardano has a good chance. Tracking and logistics with VeChain, you name it. All right. I wanted to show this really quick. So PolySign. So we got Google. We have this cloud platform, microservices, Linux Foundation, Hyperledger, of course. Look at this resume that I Am Legion found. So we got this gentleman from San Fran, and we can see specifically that his work experience, PolySign. Look at this. For, almost a year, half a year, August 2018 to April 2019. We can see exactly what he did. PolySign, a cryptocurrency startup developing software solutions for institutional-grade digital asset custody. This is built to hold trillions of dollars. Designed PolySign's backend, and it's a distributed microservices cloud architecture based on Python. And then as we go here, created Celery tasks to fetch new transactions and update balances from Ripple's ledger on a beat schedule. So we have Ripple right here, and then it designed and implemented the Ripple client, created a client that interfaces with Ripple's public API methods via Python. Ripple clients. I mean, again, guys, do you see where this is going? Of course, we know that PolySign is can't really be talked about. We've heard the terms with like Xpool and all the NDAs that David Schwartz cannot, talk about either. And again, right here, database industry tools. So we see Ripple, Ledger, Protocol, and we see PolySign. So right there, they're already connected to help custody some of these assets. So it makes you wonder, is there a pre-allocation theory? Will banks and financial institutions, just like we've shared in part 1 of this video with the accelerator program, when they're holding massive amounts of XRP, they're not going to want to hold them if they're not secure. And groups like PolySign are working to do just that. Custody and securely hold these digital assets. We're talking trillions of dollars, just like State Street, owning nearly 10% of the world's wealth, holding about $30 trillion of assets. Right here, PolySign's the website. So polysign.io, building the future of digital assets. Again, scalable infrastructure for FIs to fully leverage their digital assets. You can learn a little bit here, talking about security. You can see the users in background. And again, David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, one of the chief cryptographers and a co-designer of the XRP ledger, as it says here. And then the man, the myth, the legend, Arthur Brito, who is an absolute ghost. Okay. And of course, these people have extensive histories. I've covered them in detail in previous videos. So what I want to show you now is this new website that came on board, Standard Custody and Trust Company. This is standardcustody.com. Look right here. PolySign Inc. 2020. These things just kind of make you go, So we will see what this is in regards to. I just believe that these massive groups have a lot of backing. There's a lot of non-disclosure agreements regarding them. And I do think they are meant to truly hold and secure trillions of digital assets. All right. Whether they are, stocks, equities, derivative products and options and swaps, you name it. All right, right here, Green Eggs and Ham. Just wanted to share this. COMEX, guys, again, is so bankrupt. They're actually refusing to release the details of the LBMA backstopping their fraud. So they're not releasing the details of actual prices of gold on the market, and they're actually launching this new 400-ounce gold futures contract. And disclosure would likely cause competitive harm to COMEX. program begins April 13th. Let's see what happens with the price of gold. I personally am extremely bullish. I think that they're really hiding, and I think that the notes, these derivative notes and future products, are completely fraudulent. There's no question about it. I think that they want to raise the price of gold. Of course, this will include other metals such as silver. And I believe that silver, of course, has more a use case and utility now, especially with technology. I mean, it's in everything we use to some degree. But I'm highly bullish on metals. Wouldn't surprise me to see metals move before digital asset prices do as well. So, okay, these are just some screenshots sharing this, but I cannot believe that, they can just say this, this type of disclosure would likely cause competitive harm to COMEX. I just can't believe these groups can get away with it. But again, money equals power. All right, and we're going to finish up with this. So Greg Manarino just sharing this. I get enormous feedback from people, and I can tell you this. Small business owners here in the United States are getting destroyed. And this goes for everybody watching this video right now. If you are a small business owner, please share your thoughts here. What is going on with these SBA loans? Let me hear your story. Unfortunately, so many groups are struggling, and I know these loans are to pay employees, and they're kind of misguiding us from $1,000 you're lucky to get or $10,000. And to be honest, some people have great credit and they're not even able to get loans right now. And of course, this SBA loan is not meant to, fund your business. It's meant to pay your employees. This is just, as corrupt as it gets. And hopefully we continue to have freedom of speech. But this gentleman right here, Josh Stone, I live in Las Vegas. I own a business around 30 employees. We do about $2.7 million a year. Sales have dropped 80% the last 4 weeks. All 3 of my banks cut my credit lines of $500K to 0. Never late on a payment, 10-year history on my FICO, and an 820 credit score. Guys, let me know your story down below. My heart goes to everybody affected by this mentally, financially, and health-wise. Be safe out there. Take care of you and your family first. With that, I appreciate it as always. Be sure to like this video, share it around, and I will see you in the next one.